I am an eternal optimist. So please, God, don't tell me that you're an eternal pessimist.
I like to say I'm a realist.
Oh, it's great. We're going to get along great. This is going to be great.
This is Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
And there it is. Now you can say Carson Wentz beaten and battered tonight. The Vikings just want to wash this baby away as quickly as possible. Well, what happened to all of our great finishes on Thursday night? Put a bow on this baby as the Chargers dominate from start to finish.
I'd say that's accurate. Not a good game for the Vikings, and that makes me happy.
As it should.
Life is just better when people in purple lose in the NFL.
Good clarification.
Thank you. Good morning, Wisconsin. Welcome in. You are listening to Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh on the all-new Wisconsin Sports Radio Network powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. This show, we promise, 100% dedicated to the people, the stories, and what we call the statriotism of America's Dairyland, a zealous patriotism for one's home state. You found it. If that's what you're looking for, congrats. Welcome in. If it doesn't have to do with Wisconsin sports, or we can't circle it back to Wisconsin sports, we don't want to talk about it, which, by the way, the Vikings losing, very circular.
Well said.
Thank you. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at Trevor Thomas IW, at On Air Josh. The show is at Inside Wis Sports, and the network at WI Sports Radio. Watch us live on YouTube at your own peril, youtube.com at WI Sports Radio, youtube.com/at WI Sports Radio, or simple, just open up YouTube, click the search bar, type in Inside Wisconsin Sports. Why do every time I say type, I have to use my fingers? Why do I do that?
I don't know.
Inside, and I'm not even doing it right.
Just focus on, do it right now without saying, just say type.
Type in, I'm doing it behind my back. Can't do it. The Nicolay Law Fan Talk and Text Line, 414-677-1250. 414-677-1250. The Nicolay Law Fan Talk and Text Line. It's just better when y'all chime in. And you do it so well each and every day. So don't hold back today. We've got a lot to talk about ahead of the weekend and all the things in and around Wisconsin sports. So here we go. The NFC North, not too shabby. The Vikings, shabby. So fun to watch them get their butts beat.
It's true. It's very true.
So how does that shake out in the NFC North? Well, first off, let's circle back to last year, shall we? The Vikings finished the season at 14-3. The Vikings are now 7 games into their season this year, and they already have 4 losses. I call that winning.
They are not going to beat last year's record.
They are done.
Well, they're not done yet, but they're not going to be 14-3.
It's kind of a slow weekend for the NFC North. Obviously, the Packers play a big one that we're going to talk a lot about today at the Steelers in Pittsburgh on Sunday night. The Lions are on a bye from everything that I can tell.
Mm-hmm.
And the Bears play a noon game against the Ravens. How are the Ravens, you ask? Not good.
No.
Like bad, actually. 1-5?
Yeah.
Why are they so bad this year?
Well, Lamar. No Lamar. Lack of Lamar.
Isn't that fascinating how teams are just so insanely dependent on a good quarterback? And that's something we've probably...
Ask the Vikings.
Sure.
Yeah.
Ask the Ravens.
Yeah.
We've probably taken that for granted at the Packers.
Of course we have. Are you kidding me?
Well, but the argument is like, well, we only won 1 Super Bowl with Brett Favre, and we only won 1 Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers. What a waste.
Well, that is true.
That is not true. That is not a waste.
I'm saying they both did win 1 Super Bowl, and people feel like, wow, we had 2 Hall of Fame quarterbacks, and we only came away with 1 Super Bowl for each of them.
Do you legitimately think that that's a waste?
I don't think that any time your team wins, it's a waste. So, no. But looking at the talent involved there, And it wasn't just in both of those guys' situations. It was not like we just had an elite quarterback and no one else around him. You know, you look at some of those receiving core and the linemen and just the whole team put together, and you're like, damn, how did that team only get one? I mean, I think it's a fair argument to look at. If it was just a quarterback, sure. But there were some good teams there, man.
A mitt full of NFC championship losses during all those years. So it's not like we weren't there or on the brink of getting there. And obviously, Favre went to Super Bowls back-to-back. One good one, one not so good one. I don't think it's a waste, though. I just don't. I think that you can look back at that and go, whoa, these are hard to win. I mean, look at the Brewers season. It is hard to get there, period.
Very true.
It's hard to beat the Dodgers. All the best, by the way, to the Toronto Blue Jays. Our thoughts and prayers are with you.
Yes, T's and P's to the Blue Jays.
Good God, I hope you guys have better bats than the Brewers did.
Well, they do. They do. Because we said this after the Blue Jays won. The Blue Jays were not the 23rd most spending team in the MLB. They spent some money. They went and they got some guys. They have some power. They have some pitching. They don't have Dodgers pitching.
No. Matt Arnold said this actually pretty well yesterday. We'll hear from him later in the show. He was announced as Brewers president and general manager yesterday. He talked about the differentials in the money category and what it takes to win and how there are teams that are spending money that weren't in it, like the Mets, right? I mean, I think they're number one in all of Major League Baseball. Dumping money into players doesn't matter. Brewers, not so much, yet there they were. So it's not a apples to apples comparison. And holy mother, do the Dodgers have pitching? We'll see how this goes. Game 1 of the World Series tonight, 7:00, Dodgers Blue Jays. Are you watching?
I was just going to say, is it on the TV tonight? Yes.
100% it's on the TV.
Yes, I will watch.
I love watching all of the finals, or in the NHL, the final. Did you know that, by the way? No S on the Stanley Cup final.
I did know that, and it irritates me because
What?
I need to just say finals.
Yeah, I do it all the time.
I'm going to watch game 1. The outcome of game 1 might determine how much of this World Series I watch.
I assume it's Snell because I didn't research because I frankly don't care about the ins and outs of it, but I will watch the game. It's Snell, presumably.
No clue.
Yeah. Dodgers, Blue Jays. The good part is game 1, game 2, game 3, right? It is in Toronto. The World Series is the same 3-2, right? Is it 3, or does it go 2-1, 2-2?
I think it goes 2-2, 2-1. No, 2-2, 1-1-1.
Does it? Okay. So it's different from the CS. Somebody help us. What is it? The World Series. You're looking it up. I don't know.
I'm looking.
Toronto and the Dodgers. That's all I know. And you know what? That's interesting, right? Because if the Brewers were dialed in and still in this, I would clearly have everything right in front of me. But this is where my level of care just goes back a notch or two. I just don't care. Now I watch it, and I love, out of all of the championship celebrations, gosh, it's hard to beat the Stanley Cup celebration. But Major League Baseball is right up there. And I think they do a great job with the camera work. Their cameras are on each individual player that is on the field on defense when they win. And what they show immediately after they win is all the different angles of each player throwing their glove in the air, big smiles, who caught what. And then just the pile of people. And I can't help but, as a fragile adult, watch that pile and go, ooh.
It's 2-3-2. I don't know why. Yeah, it's 2-3-2. So
Niner.
There you go.
Walkie-talkie.
So it'll be 2 in Toronto, 3 in LA, 2 in Toronto.
Yeah, Jovan, the 630 guy on the Nicolay Law Fan Talking text line, 414-677-1250. Are you watching the World Series? And maybe one click above, do you find yourself watching the games that the NFC North is involved in? So last night we had the game on, as I promised we would.
Mm-hmm.
Was I paying attention? Absolutely not.
It was a blowout.
And Rodgers dropped a pick 6. And God, if he would have caught that and ran it in, I was so all over the Twitter immediately going, hey, hello, there's an omen for the weekend. Rodgers, pick 6. I think it's happening. In case you're just tuning in, there is a bet for the weekend. And the bet is this. The line, when we were chatting with Jeff Levering, who had nothing to do with this bet,
Absolutely nothing.
I feel like there's a lot of that needs to be taught. Like, Jeff Levering had absolutely nothing to do with this friendly wager between Josh and I. End quote. Or
that's it.
Hard stop. So Josh and I think that Aaron Rodgers is going to perform differently this weekend. I have got him throwing 2 picks. Josh has him throwing 1. So the line, a simple 1.5. If Rodgers throws 2 or more, I win. If he throws less than 2, Josh wins. What's the bet? The bet is a steak dinner. So Josh's favorite restaurant down in the Milwaukee area,
yes,
at least for steak, is Henry Flock's.
Correct.
Mine here in Northeast Wisconsin, specifically the Green Bay area where I live, is Republic Chop House downtown. And so the bet is if Rodgers throws 2 picks or more, I guess you can pick up Jeff Levering if you so chose, but you absolutely have to come to Green Bay and buy me Republic Chop House.
Yeah, with Jeff. Jeff has to come along.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. And again, nothing to do with this wager.
No, he's just a part of it.
Just along for the ride, the free steak, frankly. Or if you win, I have to come down to Milwaukee and buy steak at Henry Flock's, which I have been there, and that is a win either way. As long as I don't drop my debit card in the middle of the cracks on the deck again.
Which will make sure it happens. Yep.
Andy and Brookfield, you're on call.
Yeah.
So that's the wager. And if Rodgers would have had that pick 6 last night, I would have been like, I'm all over that. Thank you very much. That's an omen for the weekend. He did some talking yesterday. We're going to talk about that in today's show. We have a quote and a half from Jordan Love about this whole jersey swap thing. Did you know that the Steelers are wearing their throwback jerseys this weekend?
Yes. And a lot of people were like, wait a minute, is this going to be just a whole bunch of yellow helmets running around the field? And then it turned out no, because of what the Packers are wearing.
And so Jordan Love comes out to say that when they have their throwback jerseys, he likes to hang on to his. We'll see if Rodgers wants to hang on to his or not, and what he had to say about the potential jersey swap. The Nicolay Law Fan Talking text line 414-677-1250. We should have had at least 2 or 3 Super Bowls with Rodgers. Good morning from good old Trempolo. Have a good show, boys. Yeah, I don't disagree that we should have, but is it a failure, or was it lost that we didn't? I don't think you can call those eras a failure.
I think collectively, yes, you can. Individually looking at the season, sure, you can say, like, listen, they were still good seasons, blah, blah, blah. But when you look at when you take a step back, you look overall at the catalog of what those teams were and the opportunities that they had, it's almost more unlikely that they didn't get there than if they would have. That many opportunities, that many NFC Championship games lost, that many fluke plays, blocked punts, special teams this, special teams that, like all of those things that had to happen over that stretch of time. Yeah, it's pretty unlikely that things fell the way they did.
And is the Brewers season then a loss? I don't think so.
No.
I mean, it didn't go well in the NLCS, but I don't think it's a loss. What a great season.
Yeah, well, I think the difference is that the NLCS they were never in it. Right? If it was
they were in it in the bottom of the 9th
of game one. Right.
I'm just saying.
Right.
Murphy did say that it took a lot of wind out of their sails.
Right. I'm just saying if they, if you look at in comparison to 2018, they went the distance. They had a home game in game 7. It was one amazing catch in left field that kept them from going to the World Series, essentially. That is a lot different than never really being in it against the Dodgers this year.
The Nicolay Law Fan Talking text line, 414-677-1250. Save the number, because when you feel the need to throw jabs, that's the place to do it. And someone in the 864 is dealing this morning, and it's fantastic.
Oh, dealing. Yeah, another good one.
Great day to gamble on the air, they say.
Yeah, we did our gambling a little before the news broke, but
we did gamble on the air yesterday for steak. And I'm just reminding you that we did, but holy wow, what is happening? Chauncey Billups, Terry Rozier, a whole bunch of arrests and games that allegedly were rigged in the old gambling circle. Now, Josh, do you know the first rule of Fight Club?
Talk as much as you can about Fight Club.
Or the opposite.
Oh.
Don't talk about Fight Club. And rule 2 is see rule 1. That's the only rule. I feel like this might be close to that. I don't know how much comfort I have in talking about arrests dealing with illegal gambling and the Italian mafia. I maybe just think that that's Fight Club. I don't have an opinion on that. Not at all. You guys do whatever you want. You know what? Sorry it ended the way it did. I have zero opinion on what the mafia does.
I have thoughts.
That's me being afraid.
Yeah, I have thoughts. I'm dumb enough to just tell you I have thoughts.
Can you form it into questions by chance? Your thoughts?
Yeah, I think I can actually.
I think we're going to do that in the next segment.
Okay.
We do it every day about 6:25. We call it I Have Questions. If you have questions, we'll try to have answers. Shoot us a text, 414-677-1250, the Nicolay Law Fan Talk and Text Line. Bob in Minneapolis is up this morning. He says the reason the Packers didn't win more Super Bowls is because of, quote, highly successful coach and the overrated defensive coordinator. Is that highly successful coach Mike McCarthy? Is that what he's saying?
Yeah, because he's a highly successful football coach.
Well, why did he? I
mean, his words.
Won one.
His words.
Oh, I missed that. When did he say that?
Oh, come on. It's like a super famous presser that he had.
Many moons ago?
Yeah, he was asked about it. He, when he was still with the Packers, he said, "I'm not worried about it. I'm a highly successful football coach."
You ever seen the movie Inside Out?
Yes.
Where the memories just kind of get chucked down the valley or whatever it is?
100%.
That's where that one is for me.
Yeah.
I got nothing. I can't even tell you. I can't. Usually I picture things when I'm like, oh yeah, I can remember that now. I call those the gray outs. Have a cocktail or two. Got nothing. I got nothing.
It's there.
He wasn't a non-successful coach. He just wasn't the guy that took him to the promised land over and over and over again.
No, he did it once.
And that's all that we need. That's 1, 2, 3, that's 4. I'll take that. There's some teams that have never even been there.
Kind of like Terry Rozier, I want more.
And that's my question. How much does one need? That's literally the question that I have in the next segment. So let's get to that. We'll jump to break. We are so glad you are here with us on Inside Wisconsin Sports. The next segment, I have questions. And boy, do we have questions from yesterday. Wow. When that broke and we were on the air, I'm like, uh-oh, this isn't good. And then immediately, is there a connection to Milwaukee? Maybe, but not really, but maybe. It's the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. We're in those studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. You are listening to Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. Good morning. We got to figure out this whole shuffle game with the songs.
Oh, do we?
This is nothing gets me super excited to talk about sports. Who is this? Who sings this?
This is
them? Yeah.
Sweet Child of Mine, Guns N' Roses.
Is it?
Yeah. November Rain?
I believe you.
Oh, okay.
Too old for my good. I'm 42. I know the song,
I mean,
but I just didn't know who the song.
35. No.
All right. Reel it back in. Here we go. Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. We're powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. This is Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. We're glad you're here. The Nicolay Law Fan Talking text line, 414-677-1250. Whether you're there or on the YouTube channel with us or on Twitter, we want your participation. Not sure if that's right either.
I think it is, actually.
I have questions.
Do you?
Yeah.
Okay.
When things just don't add up, Trevor and Josh ask the hard questions or just point out how messed up stuff is.
I only have one question. Can you fly this plane and land it? Surely you can't be serious.
Do you view this season as a failure?
You asked me the same question last year.
What's the most important question the Badgers have to answer Saturday?
This is a great question. Oh my God, this is a great question.
It's time for I Have Questions on Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
This is when we ask them. And if you've got yours, get them in. The Nicolay Law Fan Talk and text line, 414-677-1250. We want to know your questions. We'll share a few with you as well. Here's the one that I have. And this is the only question that I wrote down. How much money does one person possibly need?
All of it.
Apparently. There's no amount of money that Terry Rozier is comfortable with. Career earnings, approximately $160.5 million. So I pause and go, I'm missing something.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever done a little research on how fast professional athletes go broke?
No, but I've heard it's faster than you and I could.
Well, first off, if I had that much money at that age, I think I'd be broke while I was getting the checks.
Really?
Think about it. I mean, if you have that much money, I cannot imagine having multi millions of dollars in my checkbook. I can't.
Not me either.
It's impossible for me to understand. And if it were to ever happen, because I hit the lottery, which I don't play often, although I did see that the Mega Millions is at like $680 million. I'm like, probably going to have to play that. I just can't fathom that, especially at the young age. So if you do a quick Google search and you are reading the notes now, do you have the numbers in front of you, or did you know? Don't read them. Did you?
I did. I read it. I read them. Do you want me to stop reading it?
Okay. Around 78% of former NFL players experience financial trouble within 2 years of retirement.
Mm-hmm.
When you're making millions of dollars, what does financial trouble mean?
You need money.
But I feel like if you're making, let's just say you signed a $40 million deal, you running into financial trouble after having $40 million, I think looks a little different than me running into financial trouble who does not have $40 million.
Yeah, 100%.
$1 million.
Listen, in a former life, Trevor, I was a banker. That was not my calling in life, but it's what I did. And I can tell you that people that made more money spent more money. It all averaged out. People that had median incomes spent median money. People that had way more than that spent way more than that. Very few people just saved it all.
I don't think you need to save it all. I think you should definitely spend, but at the same token, is 78%?
No, that's a high number. It's a very high number.
The NBA, according to the Google, approximately 60% go broke within 5 years of leaving the league. MLB, far less. I don't know if they just get paid that much less or if there's that many players in the farm system that ultimately make it in there and don't stick around long, but it's only like 5 to 6% declare bankruptcy within 12 years. So what are some of the reasons for the hardship? There's another question. They spend a lot, to your point. If you make a lot, you spend a lot. Everybody can say they live within their means, but when their means allow them to have means they didn't have before, turns out that changes. Athletes often face pressure to spend lavishly on themselves, on family and friends during their playing careers, a lifestyle that apparently is difficult to maintain after their earnings drop, which means they get comfortable spending all of the money they had, past tense,
Mm-hmm.
and then when they don't have that coming in, they're like, well, now what? Or sometimes it's just a lack of knowledge, which if I had what these guys have at 19, 20, 21 years old, hell, 30 years old, I would be dead. I would have no head on my shoulders left because I would be doing at that point in my life. I'm not even kidding. Like if I had that much money to throw around for myself and my family and my friends, I was a complete moron with my money for a decade plus.
Yeah.
And I didn't have anything close to this. Paycheck to paycheck is how my wife and I did it until we were, I don't know, late 30s, 40s, until I understood what a budget was.
Mm.
But at some token, you spend because you got it. And if they got it, boy, do they spend it. The 920 on the Nicolay Law Fan Talking text line, 414-677-1250. They make a lot, but they spend a lot. But I think spending a lot is completely different than what you and I consider spending a lot.
Oh, absolutely. Listen, they also invest in opportunities because they want to turn that money into more money. And then a lot of times those business opportunities, quote unquote, don't pan out. They don't work. And then they take huge losses. It's not like they're just going and saying, I'm going to buy 45 cars and then, lose the money like that. I mean, some of them probably do, but
Jay Leno.
That's not every single situation. Hey, I have a question.
Yeah, go.
I want to know your feelings on the 2-3-2 system to get to a game 7.
It didn't always used to be this way, right?
I thought
like
there
it
was a 2-2-1-1-1. Yeah.
I feel like it was at one point. When? Don't remember. Didn't look it up. I don't like it.
I also don't like it.
I do not feel like if a series gets to game 6 or game 7, that equals home field advantage, which is the whole purpose for a split series in any of these playoff runs. Look at do the Brewers beat the Cubs if it doesn't come home? No, I don't think it happens. So in that token, I can see that. But when we're talking about, like, let's just hypothetically say it would have been Seattle and the Brewers. 2 games here. Then we switch major time zones and go there for 3. Mm-hmm. That's a disadvantage.
Well, I understand it's all how you look at the system, but when you approach it from the beginning, before playing any games, if you start on the road, you're able to say, if we win one of these 2, then we can go the rest of the way at home. We can celebrate at home. That's kind of a crazy first. And if you're the home team, you're saying, we got to win these first 2. It's almost like there's way more pressure on the home team right out the gate.
Right.
How is that an advantage?
It is not.
Like if you lose those 2 games at home as the away team, you're going, okay, they did what they were supposed to do. Now we have to do what we're supposed to do. You're still not, you're looking at it completely different. You're still able to look at silver lining, positivity, all these other things. But if you're the home team and you lose even one of those games, now the pressure's on. Now well, now we have to win one on the road because we lost one at home. I don't know. It's not good.
And we as fans hate it when series get drug out, right? So what's the fix? If 2-3-2 doesn't seem like a home field advantage, and if they're going to change that, that means the series goes over more days. And when we play outside in certain fields, that would mean it's even further into November. So what's the fix, Josh?
Well, and that's exactly it, right? Like we talked about, I like the 2-2-1-1-1, but do you like it as much if there's 3 or 4 days, 3 days, let's say, in between games after game 4? If game 5 is, game 4 was on a Thursday and game 5 is on a Sunday, is that, do they lose the edge? Do people feel like now I don't care as much anymore? I'm sure they made this decision based on money, ratings, and viewership and money. But I just, from a pure competitive nature standpoint, I don't know that I think it's fair.
I don't think it's fair. Here's a fair question on the Nicolay Law Fan Talk and Text line, 414-677-1250. I say that a lot in hopes that all of you type that in your phone while you're not driving and save it. Favorite radio sports show text line. There you go. 414-677-1250.
It's a little wordy.
Law Fan Talk and Text line, yeah. This is a great question, and it has nothing to do with sports, and that's what I love. This says, and I quote, how many drinks is acceptable to have while handing out candy on Sunday? I can't slur my words, and I need to stay up until 10:30 for the game. So a lot of people, a lot of communities across Wisconsin have trick-or-treating on Sunday. I live in one of the communities where they actually do it on Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
I love the fact that I can start a bonfire in my driveway with my little solo stove thing.
Yep.
Put the cooler together and hand out beers to the dads and drinks to the moms, whatever they want. I'm not carding. And then they go on their merry way. For years, that's what I've done. I can only remember a handful of times when I was the one walking around the neighborhoods with the kids. If we did so, we walked around when the kids were real young and we went a block or two. Then we came back. And then if they wanted to go back out, that's when I stayed and handed out candy and beers to dads. The amount of drinks you have is completely dependent on your tolerance. And if you're not looking to slur and stay up for the game, I would take max 2 beers an hour.
I was going to say 2 tree. I think 2 tree is good.
But 2 tree catches up with you after 4 or 5.
Well, it depends on how, it depends on how long you're out.
God, do we sound Wisconsin? 2 tree catches up with you after 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, but this is a cool Halloween story. Years ago, speaking of cocktails, had a couple 2 tree, was on the Facebook marketplace and found me a vending machine. An old, rickety, weighs 1,000 pounds vending machine. I think I paid $100 for it.
Good deal.
Last year, I pulled that vending machine to the front of our driveway and I filled it with candy. And then we went and got quarters and let the kids put the quarters in to get whatever candy they wanted.
Very cool.
The top row was filled with brown paper bags. And that was for the adults.
Yeah, that one's not for kids.
Here's the best part. I tried to come up with a theme of a Halloween costume. I named the vending machine the toll booth. And my name was Willie.
Beautiful.
So I literally was like, hey, would you guys like to try the top row? Oh, sure. How much is it? For you? $1.25, Bob.
Perfect. Good on you.
Thank God the kids had no idea what I was talking about. Yeah, have a couple cocktails.
Do it. Hey, I got to get to this one on the Nicolay Law Fan Talk and Text line. And in Oconomowoc. How are you guys going to feel if the Dodgers pitchers are quote-unquote off? Well, Ann, I will be pissed.
Awful.
I'm going to feel really, really bad. Because even though I know it's completely different and I can't compare it to what the Brewers went through, I will sit there going, why not against us?
Look at Jason in Sheboygan. Here's a good question. I'm not sure if it's a question or just a gut feeling, as he says, but could this take down the NBA and some other really big names? We're talking about the whole scandal that is the betting thing, which we're going to get to in the next segment a little bit. Electrifying moment of the day yesterday.
Oh my gosh, most electrifying sound. I couldn't believe it.
You know, I fear that too, Jason. And I wonder if this wasn't coming all along. Listen, more than anything, what do immature adults crave? Sex, drugs, and rock and roll, baby. And when you have millions of dollars, you can get it. It doesn't matter how much it costs. At some point, and I mean this, and I'm not throwing any team or player under the bus whatsoever, but at some point, the highest paid people in our nation are professional athletes. And that will catch up with society at some point. I think we might be watching it before our very eyes right now. Because if you're an NBA fan and you have all of these questions, are you still as big of a fan as you are?
Right. It hurts the overall look of the league for sure. And one of my big questions was, what are the odds that this even besides the gambling part of the Terry Rozier, but the Chauncey Billups part, what are the odds that even crept into the NBA? Like, it had nothing to do with sports, gambling. It was just,
I don't know, man. Like, we don't know that yet. It had to do with poker.
It had to do with poker.
And high rolling individuals in multiple cities.
Mm-hmm.
I think that trickles back to the game at some point. Just a thought.
I'm just saying, like, for it to it's not, I don't know. I feel like it could have been anything. It could have been anything and anyone, and it just happened to be someone in the NBA that was at fault.
The most electrifying sound of the day is in the very next segment. One more question from Brad in the 414 on the Nicolay Law Fan Talk and Text line. That number, 414-677-1250. That's on his. Brad says this must be about the weekend and trick-or-treating in his neighborhood. If you're going to have a TV showing the Badger game on outside during trick-or-treating, pause, why put people through that?
Yep.
Does that mean that you also need to have beers available for adults that are walking by during trick-or-treating?
Absolutely.
1,000% that's what that means.
Yeah.
If you're going to invite people into your driveway that are of adult age to watch a sporting event and you don't have beer, I say shame on you.
Yeah, rude.
What's wrong with you? Absolutely. You got to have the beers for trick-or-treating this weekend. Wow, those are great questions. I appreciate you guys. So does Josh.
Yep.
I promise. If you've got more, it's not like we're going to ignore them. Keep them coming in. The Nicolay Law Fan Talking text line, 414-677-1250. We have so much amazing stuff to get to. The morning mind dump. I lost myself yesterday. I'm back today. Very dialed in. You'll hear it after the most electrifying sound of the day. You're listening to Inside Wisconsin Sports on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network with Trevor and Josh. There you go, Josh. Well done.
Oh, dude, trust me. If I could be doing this all the time, man.
Let's do it. Crazy game of poker, baby. That's what the topic of convo is for today's most electrifying sound of the day. Welcome back inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh on the all-new Wisconsin Sports Radio Network, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Chime in. Nicolay Law Fan Talk and text line is open, 414-677-1250. And reminder, on Sunday, after Green Bay plays in Pittsburgh, Sunday night, make the switch to the Green Bay football postgame show, powered by Lakeland University. Steve Sparky Pfeiffer and Tommy Wartz will welcome your calls and texts after the game Sunday night on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. Join them. Join us now. Time for the most electrifying sound of the day.
It's time for
The most electrifying
sound of the day
The most electrifying
on Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. Brought to you by Best Electric. Learn more at bestelect.com. Don't stress. Connect with the best.
Believe it or not, Trevor, the night before Chauncey Billups' whole world turned upside down, he was asked a question about his confidence after the first game of the season for the Portland Trailblazers, and here's what he said.
No, you know, I don't, that pressure thing is nothing to me, man. I do the best I can and let the chips fall where they may. You know that about me by now, quick.
What? Oh, my God. And 6 a.m. the next morning.
Woo!
Please.
Oh, hey, you let the chips fall, man. You let the chips fall. And that is the most electrifying sound of the day, brought to you by our friends at Best Electric. Remember, no job is too big or too small for Best Electric. Don't stress, connect with the best. Call them today or visit bestelect.com. I mean, come on. That is just beautiful.
McFly.
I mean,
that just shows you how comfy he was doing what he was doing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We're so grateful to be a part of the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network, an all-new network with all Wisconsin sports and people that you know and recognize and hopefully love. 99.7 WNFL in Green Bay, 93.9 The Game in Wausau, 710 The Game in Duluth Superior, and 1250 AM and 105.7 FM The Fan in Milwaukee. The all-new Wisconsin Sports Radio Network with an all-new lineup, and we are absolutely overjoyed to be a part of it. 6 to 9 inside Wisconsin Sports with me and Josh Albrecht. Me, Trevor Thomas, he, Josh Albrecht.
Hi.
9 to noon with John Kuhn and Rami Makloff. Noon to 2, the Mason Crosby Show with Mitch Thunder Nellis, presented by Verizon. 2 to 5, Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's. And 5 to 6, the postgame show with Tommy Wartz. I listened to the postgame show a little bit last night.
Did you?
Was on the way home from work. Popped Tommy on.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good show.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
I really enjoy listening to him.
Yeah. No, Tommy's good, man.
Tommy's great. The all-new lineup on the all-new Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. All right.
So this whole thing, this whole gambling thing, a lot of people, and some people have already texted in this morning on the Nicolay Law Fan Talk and text line saying the same thing. A lot of people have said this. I got a feeling way more people are getting arrested. This is just the tip of the iceberg. This is going to watch how this is going to crumble the NBA. This yada, yada, yada. I mean, first of all, the reason why we're allowed to talk about this is that one of the stories that came out was about Damon Jones, who was like the third guy who was apparently somehow involved in both sides of this scheme, who, when in Milwaukee, a game against Milwaukee, asked LeBron prior to the game, like, hey, brother, how's that ankle doing? And he said, I don't know. I don't think I'm going to go tonight. And then told a bunch of people, hey, LeBron's not going tonight.
Jeez.
Bet accordingly.
That's crazy. So it does affect Wisconsin. That's what allows us to talk about it.
Yep. So that was
circle it back to Wisconsin.
That being said, I still don't. I'm failing to see the connections between how this is the first domino to go across everything. Weren't there already like a ton of things in place, regulations, government things, checking out the leagues, blah, blah, blah? Is this just like because now they found a loophole that now they think they're going to be able to find many more exposed loopholes? Like, is that, I'm just trying to get a better idea of how this is going to crumble the NBA.
Well, there's a common theme when stuff like this comes out that it's the tip of the iceberg. You said that earlier. I mean, somebody in the 608 says, I'm betting more than 5 players are getting arrested. Well, there's only been 2 and a coach at the moment, right? That's all that's come out. We'll see. I mean, listen, not every player has a connection to these big cities. It ran through New York, LA, and Las Vegas. And here's my surprise face. That's exactly how that went down.
Right. Exactly.
I feel like this could take down the NBA, but I wouldn't be surprised if it didn't.
I don't see a way that happens at all.
Well, the fear is that this is the tip of the iceberg. So, I mean, there's a lot going on with this, and how deep does it go? I couldn't help but think yesterday as all this was coming out, that whole opening scene in Ocean's 11 with the poker game and the famous people and the high rollers and trying to learn how to play poker. I love how movies sometimes predict the future. Like, wait a minute, was this anywhere in The Simpsons ever?
Oh, good question.
Did The Simpsons ever talk about the NBA and a betting scheme with poker? I guarantee they did. Matt Groening is
from the future,
a psychic.
Yep.
Wow, we got to find that. I don't know how to find that. You know what? I'm going to ask the old AI to see if The Simpsons talked about this poker game in the NBA.
That's smart.
That would be wild.
So, if you were The Simpsons, you were trying to predict the future, what do you think happens with this story today? What do you think we're talking about with this story on Monday? Are we still talking about it?
You know, when Shohei Ohtani's interpreter had access to Shohei's account and all of that money went bye-bye, there was something to be said that they made that go away as fast as they could. And I think this is going to be one of those things that goes away as fast as the NBA can make it go away. They will distance themselves as a league from the people involved and say, not us. We didn't know. We had nothing to do with this. And that might be true. But clearly, I think a lot of people did. And they just, that's what you do when the mafia is involved. I think.
Yeah, not that you know.
Don't talk about Fight Club. Coming up next, the Morning Mind Dump. Get yours in the Nicolay Law Fan Talking text line, 414-677-1250. There's a lot to cover from yesterday's remarks on the Zoom. We'll cover all of it next. This is Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. Stay here. I am an eternal optimist. So please, God, don't tell me that you're an eternal pessimist.
I like to say I'm a realist.
Oh, great. We're going to get along great. This is going to be great.
This is Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
I don't know if it is or not for him. I did see the interview. I think for him, most importantly, is he's trying to be one of 5 or 6 quarterbacks to beat all 32 teams.
Bingo.
I think that's what he sees the thing about that. He is right now. He's a Pittsburgh Steeler. He's trying to win for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and he's taking this game as the next game on their schedule. Yes, it's a highlight game. Yes, it's Sunday Night Football. It'll be a playoff atmosphere, but he wants to go in the record books, I'm assuming, as being one of those guys, because that's a very small group of men that have gone on to beat all 32 teams.
Odds that we have Brett Good on the show yesterday morning, chatting about stuff like that, and then Rodgers mentions him in his Zoom call yesterday. Of all of the players. And there was a couple that he mentioned. Incredible. What's up, Wisconsin? Welcome in. Welcome back. If you were with us in hour 1, time for hour 2 of Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. My name is Trevor Thomas. His name, Josh Albrecht.
Hi.
That's usually when you, hi.
Hi.
Follow us on Twitter, at Trevor Thomas IW, at On Air Josh. The show, at Inside Wis Sports, and the network, at WI Sports Radio. Watch us live on YouTube if you dare. YouTube.com/@WI Sports Radio. Or just open up YouTube and type in Inside Wisconsin Sports. I'm doing it again, and we'll pop up right away. The Nicolay Law fan talk and text line is open, and you guys are on one today. I love it. 414-677-1250. 414-677-1250. It is time, like we do every day. Every single day at 7-ish o'clock. We got to get the things off our chest that we're hanging on to. I lost myself yesterday. I'm more dialed in today. I promise. I'm more dialed in. All right, time for the morning mind dump. Here we go.
I have voices in my head. They counsel me. They understand. They talk to me.
The coffee has kicked in. We're awake and ready to roll. Let's get some things off our chest and out of our heads.
You don't know what it's like to be me out here for you. It is an up at dawn, pride-swallowing siege that I will never fully tell you about, okay?
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not gonna take this anymore!
I'm in a glass case of emotion.
What we've got here is failure to communicate.
We got no food, we got no jobs, our pets' heads are falling off!
It's time for the morning mind dump on Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
The coffee's kicked in. Our mentals are full. So let's get it out. Get those voices out of your head. Get it off your chest before the weekend, whatever it may be. Could be sports, could be Wisconsin life, whatever you got. We're a safe place. You can share it with us and the entire state of Wisconsin here on the Wisconsin Sports Radio.
Yeah, that's fine.
The Nicolay Law fan talk and text line, 414-677-1250. All right, yesterday was nuts. So I lost myself with the Rodgers thing.
Oh,
sorry, not sorry.
Did you?
Yeah, a little bit. Whatever. I'm better today. Just had to get it off my chest. I thought this was what this is all about.
Hey, you just said it, man. Safe space. Yep.
So we had Brett Good on the show yesterday morning.
Sure did.
And he was fantastic. He's a great dude. He talked about some of the stories from the Super Bowl with Rodgers. We'll get to that. We mentioned one there at the top of the hour on his thoughts on what this game looks like from a revenge game standpoint. And then we heard from Aaron Rodgers yesterday afternoon via Zoom with the Wisconsin media. And our guy, Matt Schneidman, posted a clip about 2 minutes that we broke down because there is a lot here. So this is all part of the morning mind dump where we've got stories. When I was coming up with the name Inside Wisconsin for the podcast, where all this started, I could not decide what the actual name would be. And so I started buying domains. And one of the domains I bought was Wisconsin Storytime. So this is going to turn into Wisconsin Storytime because, you guys, I have stories in regards to some of the things that Rodgers said via the Zoom. Let's start with Brett Good. So yesterday we had Brett Good on the radio on this very program talking about his time with the Packers, specifically his time traveling to Minnesota in 2009 to play against the Minnesota-led Brett Favre Monday Night Football game. And we asked him, hey, did you ever get your hands into some fun stuff with Rodgers? Here's what he had to say.
I've talked about at the Super Bowl, it was icy, and we had the bad weather there. And I told the story of Aaron and I they gave us rental cars. We were driving around, and all of a sudden we get a call. The car had maybe 30 miles on it, and it was a collector calling, just a random number, and it happened to call in on top of the car. And so we answered and kind of played along with them for a little while, but they were looking for somebody we didn't know. But, the great thing about the Super Bowl, I think, was that team. We played cards, we hung out. It was a lot of fun. The training camp leading up to it, we had a lot of good years there. If you look from 2009 really on, and the teams were really good. We had a good core group of guys, and obviously loved John, loved Mason, and those guys. I did everything with John. Was on. He was personal protector on the punt team, so I was always talking with him and playing cards with him on the airplane. And Mason, for obvious reasons, loved Mason to death. So I think it's the relationships that you have with those guys that you miss when you're out here in the real world, and things that you wish that you can do. And everybody you always talk to, obviously people miss the game and the game check, but most importantly, you miss the locker room. You miss the guys, you miss the people that you're being around, because at the end of the day, that we're all real people and we all have real feelings, and those are the relationships that will take with me the rest of my life.
All right, there's a lot there. But the first thing I heard him say was pulling a prank with Aaron Rodgers against somebody who was calling into their rental truck, which means they spent some time together, right? So yesterday afternoon, Rodgers comes out and says some of his favorite memories are with Brett Good and he playing pranks on rookies during training camp. The Packers then stayed at St. Norbert College, which is a private Catholic college in De Pere, where they had been staying for training camp since the Lombardi era. They move into the dorms, they get the guys out of wherever they are in their lives, and they focus on football and pranks. So this all comes out yesterday. Josh and I are on the phone last night, as we do every night, talking about what the show is going to look like today. And we hear this audio from Rodgers. And I go, oh my God, we just had him on the show.
Incredible.
And so we have to text him and see if he wants to come back on. Josh, you don't even know how this ended. I didn't tell you.
You did not
know.
So
here we go. I text messaged Brett Good, and I said, so are you going to come back on the air tomorrow morning and defend yourself against these accusations of pranks against rookies? And we want to hear the stories. You pick the time. We'll move anything. He texts back, equal opportunity pranksters, with a laughing emoji. That didn't make sense to what I had just said. So now I have questions. I said, for real, I can't believe he mentioned you again. This is epic. Honestly, it'd be super funny to almost have you be like, so apparently Rodgers is going to talk about some of the things from the past and you tell the stories. And he replied, oh, I haven't seen that. Was this today? Dude, we broke the news to Brett Good that he was thrown into the mix by Rodgers yesterday. And so I grabbed the tweet and I sent it to him. He goes, all right, stand by him. I'm driving. I'll be home in like 20 minutes. All right, sounds good. He texts back, that is funny. And he said, I wish I could, but I have a lot going on tomorrow. We broke the news to Brett Good.
That's crazy.
That he was in on all of the pranks at St. Norbert. Apparently, though, that's not where the pranks ended. And Rodgers starts talking about the prank wars between Matt Flynn and Josh Sitton and TJ Lang and one Graham Harrell. Here's what he had to say about that.
The constant battle between Flynn and Graham and TJ Lang and Josh Sitton, what they would do on the road. It got so crazy. Some of the pranks they were pulling that Mike at one point said, cut that out, no more of that stuff, because they were doing some wild stuff.
Okay. Wisconsin story time. I've mentioned before that I got to be friends with some of those Packers back in the day because I was the same age as they were and we didn't have kids yet and so on. As a matter of fact, I think we did have one kid at one point during all of this. I was literally with them when some of this was going down. There's a bar in De Pere that is now called Salt. It's a restaurant. And I can't remember for the life of me what it was called back then, but that was the hangout spot, that and the old sports corner in De Pere. These dudes would come in on their weekends and run it on a Thursday, Friday, Saturday night, sometimes Monday night because they were off on Tuesdays. Matt Flynn lived in a apartment complex, a nice condo-style apartment complex in downtown De Pere, who had underground parking. How great were these nights, you ask? Matt Flynn parked his truck outside on the street every single night. You can't park on the street in De Pere overnight. You get tickets. And Matt Flynn got a ticket every single night. But why couldn't he just go in and park underneath? Because these dudes were running one, playing pranks on each other in the bars and all night, just crazy stuff. To the point where Matt Flynn said, the extra XYZ number of sleep minutes that I get from parking outside where I can just get my truck and go is worth the ticket.
Wow.
I can only imagine how many parking tickets he got until he finally figured out that maybe that wasn't a good investment. Speaking of money. So there are stories upon stories of these guys pranking each other. And there was one night where I don't recall how it got to this. I don't remember if somebody took Sitton's truck or if somebody just decided that this was a good idea. But there was a moment, there are train tracks right by all of these bars that were in downtown De Pere. Somehow Josh Sitton's truck drove down the train tracks, and then ultimately they dumped it in a ditch and they couldn't get it out. And next morning, the police are going, hey, Josh, we found your truck. What's going on? Now, what I can't remember is, was that one of the pranks? Because I think that may be what Rodgers is referencing in how this was getting a little involved where people are going to start talking and news articles might start to hit the papers. But it was crazy. I mean, crazy. And these guys, listen, this is where I go back to, if I was in my early to mid 20s with millions of dollars, I wouldn't care either.
Yeah.
And a lot of these guys just didn't care. So fun. And then he brings up this golf cart thing with David Bakhtiari and the idea of just riding to and from practice, right? So if you were anywhere near the stadium while this was going on, you would see that a lot of the players would jump in their vehicles. Rodgers mentions riding in the back seat of a truck. And then you would see when the gift happened of this golf cart where they literally are zooming through the parking lot. It's just him and Bakhtiari. The radio is bumping because this thing was decked out, and they're just being weird dudes.
Yeah.
Because they're weird dudes. This all started on the Pat McAfee show about 4 years ago. Here's them talking about it.
Sorry, I had a different one queued up.
All right, let's talk about the golf cart. Hey, we're talking embroidered leather seats there.
Oh, yeah, very nice.
Ashton Martin is what Takhtari was calling it. Aaron Rodgers stated whenever he debuted it on the internet, so glad some of my teammates like me. All right, that's awesome to hear because I had heard something much, much, much differently on television about his teammates maybe losing respect for him. Takhtari has never given Aaron a gift before. It's been a conversation piece not only with us and Aaron, us and Bakhtiari, us and basically everybody in that locker room. This is an incredible gift and a welcome back. Great to have you, pal. Let's go ahead and try to win a Super Bowl here, Mr. MVP from Bakhtiari.
All right. So the gift goes like this. There's a running bit on Pat McAfee's show back then that led to this golf cart. So late in 2020, COVID, Rodgers joked on McAfee that after Bakhtiari signed his huge deal that year, that he still hadn't gotten Aaron a decent gift after all that time. And it was just a cheesy model Aston Martin, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Rodgers wanted an Aston Martin. That's a vehicle that is worth $1 gazillion, apparently, and David Bakhtiari could afford it. And yet he still hadn't gotten something. And so they kept throwing him under the bus and throwing him under the bus about, I need an Aston Martin. Fast forward, training camp, July 2021, Bakhtiari rolls out a custom Aston Martin-inspired golf cart for Rodgers. There's a pink fuzzy wheel. He even wrote "No More Shaming" on the Pat McAfee show on it. There were seat MVP decals, and it had a particular license plate that you'll just want to Google. At the end of the day, it's all nodding and going on after this McAfee thing. So the whole joke is that Bakhtiari finally made good on all of the ribbing that he was getting and the over-the-top golf cart that they've been clowning about. That thing was absolutely epic. I heard him say something about beer in the back of a truck as well. And I was like, I wonder whose truck had multiple cases of beer in it. Got me thinking. Don't know. Can't quite pinpoint it. But at the end of the day, At the end of the day, Rodgers said, all the things that I have in my life started and will end in Green Bay.
Damn near everything great in my life is because of my football career. My football career starts and will end one day with Green Bay. I got a lot of love for all those memories and a lot of great friends that I still carry with me to this day.
That's pretty cool. So as off as I went, here he comes and does stuff like that and literally announces, whether he knew it or not, that he will come back to Green Bay, do the one-day contract when he's all done, and retire as a Packer. We reached out to Lance Allen, formerly of TMJ4, now with CBS 58 in Milwaukee. He was the one that hosted the Brett Favre comeback party at Lambeau. And I wanted to know what his thoughts were on whether we think Aaron Rodgers is going to have that type of reunion with Packer fans when he comes back. Ironically, he's on a plane right now headed to Pittsburgh. So we'll check in with him hopefully next week and just hear the comparisons after Sunday's game. All right, there. Is that better? I was pretty dialed in instead of just completely all over the place, ADHD filled yesterday, ranting about Aaron Rodgers. So I heard your advice and I took it. Thank you.
I think that was better. I think it also is a good time to tie in when we talk about what Rodgers just said about ending a Packer into our second ever poll question that we put out yesterday. That was Rodgers ? That post, by the way, that is done. It is now done. It is complete. 70% yes.
Yeah, 70-30.
30% no on Rodgers ?
I kind of like these one-word and the questions.
Well,
Rodgers?
it's a thing for sure, but I will say that it told me, yeah, when that day comes, especially, I mean, if we're already at this point with him, when that day comes that he has that one-day contract and retires a Green Bay Packer, going to be a lot of happy Packer fans.
They will. Myself included. I was the exact same way with Favre. We mentioned this yesterday, to the point of being a complete moron and getting rid of my Favre stuff. I'll be happy when Rodgers comes back. And I mentioned this to you, Josh, yesterday, but there's going to be a piece of me that is also happy that when Rodgers retires, to see what he does next. The dude loves talking. By the way, hi, Stones, Glass House. Clearly, we love talking too. That's why we do this job. But it's going to be fascinating to see how Rodgers either gets more in the limelight and becomes a broadcaster or an analyst or whatever the case may be, or does he disappear into the woods?
That's the thing about Rodgers. You really don't know.
And then all of a sudden he'll pop up at some point. Do you have thoughts on your morning mind up? Is there anything that you had to get off your chest this morning?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I mostly just thought it was really interesting and was still continuing this thought and idea in my head of how to feel about Aaron Rodgers based on that poll. You know, listening to you be all over the place yesterday and then seeing the people chime in and the things that they said and then answering the poll and then hearing what it's just crazy how someone who was with the organization and had so many ups and downs off the field, but for the most part, very incredible play on the field, can still leave me these many years later confused on how to feel about the guy.
Yeah, isn't that weird?
It's nuts. It's frustrating. I just want to know and end it. I like you. I don't like you. I want to be done. But I can't, like I said yesterday, I'm just stuck in this. I'm focused on my new relationship with Jordan Love, and I see you there doing your thing, and I keep pushing off how I feel about Aaron Rodgers, and maybe I just will continue to do that until the day comes when he retires.
The hard part is, let's rattle off in real time here, unprepared, other players that have come and gone in Green Bay. How do you feel about Jordy Nelson?
I love Jordy.
Love Jordy Nelson, right? When you think about Jordy Nelson, you only think about him being a receiver, correct?
Yes.
Nothing else comes to mind. How do you feel about Scott Wells?
Very indifferent on Scott Wells.
But you wouldn't have any reason to feel good or bad or indifferent per se.
Correct.
Right? Greg Jennings. How do you feel about Greg Jennings?
Yeah, not a huge fan of Greg Jennings.
How come?
Because of not only the fact that he went to Minnesota, but then the stuff he said after his playing career.
Bingo. It's always the stuff they say. It has very little to do about the things they do on the field. Because if we were just disconnecting all the things that Rodgers says, we wouldn't have any negative feeling towards Aaron Rodgers. maybe, hey, he couldn't get past the NFC Championship for quite a few years there. And winning multiple MVP, Super Bowl champion quarterback Aaron Rodgers. Look at Jordy Nelson. Didn't say a thing, a lick off the field. Not once. As a matter of fact, blended in very, very well. And we love him. That's the difference. Greg Jennings runs his mouth.
Look at Aaron Jones.
Rodgers. Love him.
I love Aaron Jones. And he went to Minnesota. Still love him.
Isn't that fascinating? I rest my case, Your Honor. There'll be no further questions. But there could be more morning mind dumps. We're going to keep this going. We'll get to the talk and text line. Nicolay Law fan, talk and text line, 414-677-1250. You are listening to Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. Welcome back to Wisconsin Sports Radio Network, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. Follow along on Twitter at Trevor Thomas IW, at On Air Josh. The show is at Inside Wis Sports, and the network at WI Sports Radio. A buddy of mine just said, hey, how do I watch you on YouTube again? First off, don't know why you want to do that, but here we are. YouTube.com/@WI Sports Radio. Or you can just search Inside Wisconsin Sports. You'll see Josh and I pop up on the screen. We're live right now. You can click on that. Sports Talk on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network is presented by Paramount Plus. You can't count on much, but you can always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus. Watch your local NFL game live every Sunday all season long. Visit ParamountPlus.com/NFL to get started. The morning mind dump continues. The coffee's kicked in. Get it off your chest and out of your head before the weekend. Text us on the Nicolay Law Fan Talk and Text line 414-677-1250. It could have anything to do with anything. Anything to do with anything. Doesn't matter. What do you need to get off your chest? The 715. Here we go. The narcissistic Aaron Rodgers says, yes, this is a revenge game. However, hopefully it is like the Joe Montana, Steve Young, where Jordan Love can finally get the monkey off his back. Does Jordan Love have a monkey on his back?
I didn't think so.
I don't think so either. What I hear him saying is this, obviously, like Joe Montana and Steve Young and, gosh, I mean, Peyton Manning played against the Colts. Those games to me, at least that one in particular, Peyton Manning and the Colts when he went to Denver, that didn't feel like a revenge game. And I think that has to do with the person. Did you ever feel like Peyton Manning was filled with revenge?
No.
Me neither.
Nope.
Jason in the 920, morning mind dump. How boring is the NBA that 11 days into their season, they already have an in-season tournament start? They're grasping at straws. There's no other way around it. The NBA is struggling to get people to want to be involved at anything close to what people do in terms of the NFL or the MLB, or in certain markets with certain fans, the NHL. It's just not there.
No, it's not at the beginning of the season. And so they try to find something else. And I think part of it is just that it comes down to the players not pushing out and pumping out the same level of competition. Fans know it.
Jeremy in the 715 says, as far as Rodgers goes, his on-field performance was always the best. Some of the nonsense off the field near the end was weird, but he will always be one of my favorite Packers of all time. I don't think Love will ever live up to. Do you think Love will live up to what is before him in terms of Favre and Rodgers, or are you not sold yet? You don't think so?
No, I don't think so.
No?
I'm sold no, and I'm happy with no.
Tell me more. Why?
I don't think that he's going to I especially right now, I don't think he's a future Hall of Famer, but I think he's a good quarterback. And I think that we looked at for a long time this Packers team focusing all on an elite quarterback and it only getting us those 2 Super Bowl wins. And so I don't mind having a good quarterback and a lot of other good pieces, like a Micah Parsons, like a elite defense, because I watched elite offenses lose very big, important games 45-40 because the defense was garbage and they couldn't help out Aaron Rodgers. And so I'd much rather have a well-balanced team that wins Super Bowls. And I think that Jordan Love is a good quarterback. I don't think he's a Hall of Fame quarterback.
I did think it was interesting that there was a conversation yesterday and the day before about Jordan Love and Aaron Rodgers doing a jersey swap. That would be appropriate, right? Yesterday, or I should say Wednesday, this was Wednesday, Jordan Love talked to reporters about doing a jersey swap with Rodgers, and he wondered, does Aaron want to let go of that retro jersey?
I do. I would love to swap jerseys, but who knows? I know they're breaking those throwback jerseys out, so we'll see. We'll see. I know. I like to hold on to mine, so we'll see what he wants to do, but I need one for sure.
So when the Packers have those retro jerseys, he likes to hold on to his, meaning I would like to not swap jerseys. But the Steelers have a retro jersey this weekend, so he was like, we'll see what Rodgers wants to do. Well, there's no audio of it, but yesterday during the Zoom call with the Wisconsin media, Rodgers said, I want a jersey swap with J. Love. So, Jordan, if you're listening, I think it's a done deal.
Yeah, I think that's what's happening.
I think it's happening.
How about if he
It's
says no?
happening.
How about if he says no?
Who? Jordan?
Yeah.
He won't. He just said,
But-
I'd love to do it.
But what about if he did? Wouldn't it be crazy?
I'm here for that.
Oh man.
I'm here for that.
Sorry, Aaron. I really love this one. I'm gonna hold on to this one.
Does it change if there's an ass whooping either way?
I don't think so.
My favorite, this is crazy to say. Have you ever sat and watched what happens when the clock hits zeros at the end of the fourth quarter and the teams converge? Amanda and I talk about this all the time. If we are at a game, that is one of our favorite moments of the non-field play. I will stand there and watch all of these guys get together. They maybe played together in college. Maybe they're on a different team together. Maybe like they know somebody that knows somebody. Maybe they worked out in the summer. It is so cool to watch all of these cats check in with each other and see how they're doing. And then the jersey swap thing started, and that's impressive. The prayer circle happens usually at the 50-yard line, right?
Mm-hmm.
I just love that part of what it is in the NFL. It's also when some of the best fights happen.
That's true, although not as many. And that's what I've always been surprised by, is that during play, how many times the refs have to break it up, blow their whistles, hey, separate. And then you see these guys after the game, hey, man, good to see you. Hope you're doing. And I'm like, were you just like bickering and saying stuff to each other not a half hour ago?
Yeah, jaw jacking like crazy.
It's literally flipping a switch.
So here's a question. If you could, who would you jersey swap with? It's in the NFL. I don't care what team you play for or what jersey number you wear. But who would you seek out and do a jersey swap with? Josh, have you given this some thought? Like, who is the person that you would go, hey, man, let's swap jerseys? Who is it?
Is it current or former, or doesn't matter?
It can be all-time NFL. If you were going to swap a jersey with somebody that played in the NFL, doesn't have to be Packers.
Oh, it would be. But
all right, who is it?
I mean, it'd be Bart Starr.
Oh, really?
Yep. And then if he was busy, someone got to him first, and then it would have been Reggie.
And are you going to pick a particular jersey from a particular game as if you had that call?
Oh boy, I didn't even think that far ahead. I don't need it to be. I don't need it to be. But being from one of those guys would be the two.
There was a Packer a while back named Trevor Ford. Remember him?
No.
I think I want that jersey of all the jerseys because I love stories.
Sure.
Like, it's easy for me to say Favre or Reggie, no offense, or any of the other people that were in the limelight, but I want a story behind the jersey swap. What about you, Nicolay Law fan talking text line? 414-677-1250. If you could pick, who are you doing a jersey swap with? You're in the NFL, you're decent, and you walk up to somebody that you're like, gotta have it. Who is it? Maybe tell us why. And that makes me smile sometimes when some of these guys that we've never heard of walk up to somebody like Aaron Rodgers. We've seen this on NFL films and the audio from behind the scenes. Some random dude will walk up to some of these elite quarterbacks or elite stars in the NFL and go, hey, you want a jersey swap? And the look on the other dude's face, like, how about no?
Right. That's my thing. Do you feel obligated? You know, I didn't really want to, but this is going to look like bad PR if I don't. Yeah, man, let's swap jerseys.
Well, I think some of these are premeditated. Clearly, there's going to be a jersey swap. Can we just come out and say, is this game on NBC on Sunday night?
Correct.
Somebody needs to get a hold of NBC right now and say, do not miss the Rodgers Jordan Love jersey swap. Don't cut away. Don't take a commercial break. Get a camera on that. I want to see that. Please, God. It was so annoying to me earlier in the week when they missed Chris Middleton's tribute video or the crowd cheering for him.
Yeah, that was frustrating.
Come on. What a miss. What a
True.
miss. All right, here we go. The Nicolay Law fan talking text line 414-677-1250. I was wondering who would be first to say the Ice Bowl game. Of course, Ray Nitschke, Michael in Appleton. That's a solid bet there. Were you there? Were there ticket stubs to that? How many people have said they're at the Ice Bowl?
Literally, I think there were 4 million people there.
Trevor Ford, what are we doing here? McFly, my name's Trevor. That's what we're doing.
But the jersey's going to say Ford.
I don't care.
Okay.
It's a story. To me, it's a story.
Sure.
And honestly,
but what's a story?
that text, though, proved my point. Of all of the people you would choose, Trevor Ford? Why? Well, let me tell you a story. Back when I was running around with the Packers in my non-mature days, a lot of people thought I was a Packer. A lot. I mean, I'm 6'8". Back then, I was a little bit more in shape, probably 265. And a lot of people saw me with a lot of those guys and asked me if I was a Packer. They did not believe me when I told them no. So I said yes. And we used to come up with different names because it didn't matter who it was. So I started saying, yeah, Trevor Ford, because people were calling me Trevor all night, right? Hey, Trevor.
Mm-hmm.
So I said Trevor Ford. Google Trevor Ford once.
Okay.
Right now. Just Google Trevor Ford. And you'll quickly realize why this is a funny story and why I want his jersey.
The Welsh soccer player?
No, type in Trevor Ford, Green Bay Packers.
Oh.
Trevor Ford, Green Bay Packers. Then click images. Why is that funny, Josh?
I don't know.
Did you find a picture?
Yes.
Do I look like Trevor Ford?
No. Well, no, you don't. You definitely don't look like.
There you go.
Wait, you got to
Google it
look
for
like the guy?
No, that's
Is that
the funny
part of it?
part of the story.
Oh,
I look nothing like Trevor Ford.
correct. No, you don't.
And yet we were telling people in the bars that I was Trevor Ford.
Yeah, because no one knew who Trevor Ford was.
Exactly. That's the whole funny part of the story. So that's what I'm doing here. I love stories. And that is a true story. An absolutely true story from back in the day. Any Dallas Cowboy cheerleader, don't care if it's not a jersey. Well played. That's funny.
You did say NFL.
Ray Nitschke in the Ice Bowl. Lawrence Taylor. My first number was 56 because of him in first grade football.
That's pretty cool.
The 920. The 480, Bo Jackson, without a doubt. Jersey swap.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bo knows. Greatest poster of all time. We'll argue about that a different day. What was the greatest kid sports poster you had growing up? We got to write that one down in the show notes. That's good. Well, then, 414 says, told you, there's always a story involved. All right, last one before we get to break, and we come out of the next one with a Josh doesn't know this is coming. I love surprising him. Sometimes it goes well, sometimes it doesn't. Josh, the WIAA high school football playoffs start today.
Okay.
I printed off 10 pages worth of the high schools in Wisconsin and their mascots. And I'm just going to quiz you a little bit on some of the high schools where we're on in the radio across the state of Wisconsin and see how you do on guessing what the mascot is.
Oh, have fun getting a 0%.
Zero?
Yep.
What do you mean? None?
I'm going to say Bulldogs for 90 of them.
So I immediately texted you last night as I'm putting this together behind the scenes. And I say, hey, dude, where'd you go to high school? And you say?
West Allis Hale.
What were they?
The Huskies.
The Huskies. How many total schools do you think are the Huskies in the state of Wisconsin?
3.
Did you Google that ahead of time?
No.
Eau Claire North, Huskies.
Yeah.
Milwaukee Reagan, Huskies. And New Holstein, Huskies.
Boom.
That's 3 others. That's insane. See, you're not going to do bad at this at all.
Yeah, I'm going to guess the hell out of this thing.
We're going to do that next. It is a big day for Wisconsin high school football here in the state. The playoffs start today, all 7 divisions. I have all of those brackets up in front of me. I'll just pick a few. Probably going to pick one from Wausau, where we're on the air on 93.9 The Game. I know there's some schools here in Northeast Wisconsin that are in the playoffs. I can name you those. There's a few in Milwaukee on 1250 AM and 105.7 FM The Fan, 99.7 WNFL here in Green Bay, and 710 in Duluth Superior. It's the all-new Wisconsin Sports Radio Network, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. This is Inside Wisconsin Sports. What's up, Wisconsin? Welcome back. The Wisconsin Sports Radio Network, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Trevor Thomas, Josh Albrecht, Inside Wisconsin Sports is on your radio statewide on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. It's also on YouTube if you want to join us there. YouTube.com/@WI Sports Radio, or just search Inside Wisconsin Sports. You should see the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network logo pop up. You'll see that we're live. A shout out to our friends at Duke Rentals in Appleton. I just got a text that had our mugs on their TV in their office.
Wow.
I don't know if they like customers or not, but that is one way to drive your business down.
That's a bold move, Cotton.
Bold move. It's my guy, Giff. Boys in the Hood, the Giff's Garage. Remember, he's got us on the YouTube.
Gotcha. Yeah.
I see in the picture there that it's amazingly stunning how different we are on the YouTube.
Oh, it's worse though, right?
You ever seen the movie Twins?
Yeah.
It's kind of like that.
Yeah, that's not,
only you're 6 foot.
No, okay. That's not a good thing. This isn't a good comparison.
Why?
If you're saying it's like Twins, that's not good. That's a DeVito, like I'm looking like Danny DeVito. Everyone looks at Danny DeVito and goes, wow, that's a good looking guy right there.
Do you think I look like Arnold Schwarzenegger? This is not. You're gonna say that you don't look like Danny DeVito, but I'm clearly not Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I just don't like the comparison. I don't want it. I don't want that comparison.
Okay, well, too late. The WIAA football playoffs start today. There are 7 divisions across the state of Wisconsin. Is your alma mater in, Josh?
No clue.
No clue. Well, I know mine is.
I haven't followed high school football in 15 years.
Did you follow it, though, when you were in high school?
Yes.
So you don't follow it, though, at all? Like, even when...
No, I'll get back into it in 6 years when Jordy's there. But
that's it, though?
Yeah, that's it.
My alma mater's in. Johnson Crick, home against Clear Lake, the first round of the Division 7 playoffs. Johnson Crick. Josh, here we go. Is Johnson Crick the Blue Dukes, the Blue Devils, or the Blue Jays?
Blue Devils.
Blue Jays. 0 for 1.
Okay.
We are on in Wausau on 93.9 The Game on the Wisconsin Sports Radio
Wausau.
Network. Love Wausau. They have a couple high schools in Wausau.
I'm
Did
sure
you know
they
that?
do.
Do you want to talk about Wausau East or Wausau West?
Oh, clearly the amazing program they have out there at Wausau West.
Wausau West. Are they the Rangers, the Hornets, or the Warriors?
Yeah, Rangers for sure.
Come on, you like alliteration. You should have got that one.
Yeah, the Warriors could have been East. You could have been tripping me up.
East is the Lumberjacks. You were close. We are on in Milwaukee on 1250 AM and 105.7 FM The Fan. Are you going to have a clue? I mean, you live there.
Yeah, not going to matter.
At all?
Probably. It's a coin flip. But
Do you know any?
Of any of the schools in Milwaukee?
Mm-hmm. None?
The Raiders? Is someone the Raiders?
Probably.
Okay.
The Raiders. Milwaukee. I don't see Raiders.
Okay.
Nope, you're wrong. How about Wisconsin Lutheran? We had our guy, Con Knippel, on earlier this week, who, by the way, in his first game, 11 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist. That's what Con does. He's just all over the joint. He doesn't need to be the leading scorer. He doesn't need to be the leading rebounder or assist scorer, but you better keep an eye on him. That's how he plays. The Wisconsin Lutheran High School in the Milwaukee area. I feel bad for them. Are they the Vanguards, the Vikings, or the Red Raiders?
Oh, the Red Raiders. That's what I was saying. Did I say? I said Raiders. Sorry, Red Raiders was it? Sorry.
That's
now,
what Wisconsin Rapids.
Right. What were the 3 you said?
Okay, I said Red Raiders, Vanguards, or Vikings.
Vikings.
Hey, you're listening.
Look at that.
Duluth Superior. We're going around the horn.
Yeah,
on
Duluth.
The Wisconsin Sports Radio Network.
Yeah.
Testing Josh's knowledge of
big fan.
How we're doing. Big fan of high school football.
In Duluth.
The playoffs start today. You're killing it.
I'm always, listen, in my free time, I'm always talking about Duluth Superior High School football.
Well, what's not to talk about?
I can't get it. I can't get it out of my mind.
is superior, the Cardinals, the Eagles, or the Spartans?
Yeah, the Spartans all day, baby.
Bam. See? Superior
think
Spartans.
Think I'm lying about how
You're
much
catching
I care about the Lou Superior High School football?
My high school football player is still battling a concussion, so he's not suiting up tonight. But I
Oh,
talk
no.
about it often on this program. The Fox Valley Lutheran what? Come on. All the time.
You do say it all the time, but you're not giving me multiple choice this time.
Are they the Wolves,
No.
the Coyotes, or
No.
the Foxes?
The Foxes.
Hell!
Yeah.
All right. See, that wasn't as bad as you
Yeah.
thought it was going to be.
Well, I just needed you to give me the multiple choice, but
Shout out to all of the schools that are within the listening radius of the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. There are so many. I was talking with my wife, Amanda, about this last night. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to look up the high schools that are in the playoffs, that are in our areas where the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network is, and we'll talk to Josh about it. And then I started looking up. Holy hell, we're all really good at football. There's a lot of high schools within our listening radius that are starting the playoffs tonight here in Wisconsin. Up next, at the top of the next hour, we got to come up with a new poll question on Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
Do we? Are we doing this every day?
Every day.
Oh,
One word.
here
poll
we
questions.
go. Now
we'll
it's
come up with it.
Okay.
We'll also hear audio from Matt Arnold and Pat Murphy. Those guys chatted yesterday, plus the Brewers got handed, I should say, some awards yesterday. We'll put a slight button on the Brewers season when we come back at the top of the hour. There's a little bit to talk about. Matt Arnold talked about money and his promotion a little bit. Pat Murphy, just grateful to be a part of it all. And should Christian Yelich have been named the comeback player of the year in the National League? Anyone want to take notes for a tier early take back Tuesday by chance?
Might.
We were all pretty rough on him. We'll find out all of that more and next. The Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. This is Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. Follow along on Twitter. That's where we'll put out the Twitter question in moments at Trevor Thomas IW at On Air Josh. The show at Inside Wis Sports and the network at WI Sports Radio. Stay here. This is Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. I am an eternal optimist. So please, God, don't tell me that you're an eternal pessimist.
I like to say I'm a realist.
Oh, great. We're going to go on great. This is going to be great.
This is Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
Crowd is here about.
And there it is. Now you can say Carson Wentz beaten and battered tonight. The Vikings just want to wash this baby away as quickly as possible. Well, what happened to all of our great finishers on Thursday night? Put a bow on this baby as the Chargers dominate from start to finish.
What a call. And there it is.
Classic Al Michaels right there.
Well, the Vikings lost in amazing fashion. And there it is. Wisconsin 37-10. Chargers win, Vikings lose. They've already lost more in 7 games this season than they did all of last season. Cool. Sounds great. I like it when they suck.
Me too.
What's up, Wisconsin? Good morning. Wisconsin Sports Radio Network, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. We are live across the state of Wisconsin and super stoked for all the new affiliates as part of the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. 99.7 WNFL in Green Bay, 93.9 The Game in Wausau, 710 The Game in Duluth Superior, and 1250 AM and 105.7 FM The Fan in Milwaukee. Make sure to follow the network on Twitter at WI Sports Radio. Text us, the Nicolay Law Fan Talking text line, 414-677-1250. We got to put a button on the Brewer season. A lot of conversation about the Packers this weekend against the Steelers and Rodgers. We're going to chat with Andy Herman coming up at 8:20. But yesterday, Pat Murphy and Matt Arnold spoke. The Brewers received some awards, and we should probably just put a button on it. Josh, where do you want to start?
Well, let's start with Matt Arnold. I mean, that was kind of the first thing we saw, right? Was that Matt Arnold was being promoted, getting a promotion. And in some of the group chats that I'm in, you know, that's how I first saw the news. And I said, okay, and this is good because, like, obviously happy for him personally, but for the team. And it just came down to, you know, I don't think much changes from a fan perspective, but it's good to know that, hey, this is an award for Matt Arnold, and Matt Arnold's going to be here.
Well, he won Executive of the Year. Is that right? When these awards came out from the Sporting News yesterday?
Yes.
And he was promoted to president.
Back-to-back, yeah.
And he was promoted to president. So
Correct.
Some people are like, all right, what's that about?
Right.
Do we need, because he was already the executive vice president. Why did he need to be the president?
Well, and he said, I don't know that anything's really going to change with the new job title.
It's not going to change materially. Honestly, I've never really been focused on titles at all. Honestly, it's just been something where you keep your head down and you work hard and good things will happen. And obviously thankful to a ton of people here, including this guy, first and foremost, our ownership, family, like just too many people to thank, but especially the guys that are here that I work with every single day.
So I kind of took that as just like hey, this is good that Matt Arnold's still going to be here, right? You know, we had to deal with the whole David Stern. He's going to New York. Matt Arnold, hey, you're getting more money. You're getting more responsibility. We want you to stay here in Milwaukee.
Yeah, they essentially locked him down, right? I mean, if there's anywhere else that he wants to go, hopefully the Brewers just made it very difficult for him to desire to leave. And he likes being here. And clearly what he's doing is working. He talked a little bit, too, about money yesterday and how they won't necessarily ever be at the top of the thing, but we do believe we have the resources here to succeed.
We're going to have the resources that we need. We have support from our ownership to put a quality product on the field. There are a lot of small market teams that can't say that, and we can. And then there are also a lot of teams that spent a lot of money that didn't get in, you know, and so I don't think it's just about the money, you know, and about the economics of the sport. They are what they are.
Yeah, it's not all about the money, but it's a little bit about the money. It's a little bit. I understand what he's saying. He's not wrong in saying that. And there are other small market teams that spend less, sure, but those teams also probably aren't in the situation the Brewers are to have a legitimate shot of winning the whole damn thing.
But what I heard the Brewers GM say is that he thinks he has the adequate amount of tools in order to succeed here in Milwaukee. I would say that Milwaukee was very successful this year. The Brewers were, I don't know, the fourth best team to end the season in all of Major League Baseball.
Yep.
Didn't end well.
Nope.
But it was still successful. And I think that's the hard part when it comes to the money conversation. What are we basing success on?
Right. That's what makes it so difficult, because everyone wants to say, well, World Series. Well, only one team wins the World Series.
Right.
And if you see what happens if Toronto goes out and gets swept by the Dodgers and they had the 7th highest payroll.
Right.
And then it just ends up that it didn't matter what the Brewers did this year, because the Dodgers just rolled through everyone and would have rolled through everyone. Then it makes you think, well, good thing he didn't spend all that money, push all the chips in, as Chauncey Billups would say, and put himself in a predicament, honestly, going forward. We just don't know. But I think that it's crazy to say that this year wasn't a success. As you said, you were in the top 4 teams in the entire league with the payroll and the team that you have. What the Brewers are doing is a successful way to run a Major League Baseball team. It's just getting that extra push, whatever that is, to finally get to the promised land. That's what we're missing.
Christian Yelich, the NL Comeback Player of the Year, according to the Sporting News Honors and Awards.
Yes.
Are we sure?
I mean, that's what they said. that
based
award,
off of what? What are your thoughts, Josh? Because we talked a little bit about this last night when we saw it.
I mean, I thought it was really funny when the first thing you said to me was, is that like a Brewers award or like a Major League Baseball award? I thought that was really funny because, yeah, you're right. You think about it, that I saw play in the postseason. Well, his numbers in the regular season this year were, we did not put enough respect on Christian Yelich's name throughout the season for the clutch hits, the runs batted in. He almost had 30 home runs. I mean, all in all, based on past years with injuries and back tightness and everything else, this was a really good comeback year for him. I'm just surprised there was no one better, if I'm being honest, in the National League across all the other teams, that they're saying, nope, more than anyone else, Christian Yelich was the comeback player of the year.
Is that idea of comeback player, though, less about statistics and more about coming back from injury?
I would maybe say so in other sports, but I feel like baseball, especially with awards, is so statistic heavy. I have a hard time believing that his stats did not play a role in that decision.
And maybe it's both. Maybe it's the stats showed that he was able to come back from the injury that he had with his back last year. It's hard for Brewers fans. I mean, the 414-677-1250 Nicolay Law fan talk and text line, good for Christian. Don't hate. Well, yeah, I concur. We agree. It's difficult as a Brewers fan. Because you wanted him to show up in the playoffs, and he didn't.
Like 608, Yelich, postseason lifetime choker award. Not given out. But that's what skews it in our minds as fans.
There was multiple years. Which years? Don't know. That our season ended in the playoffs with Christian Yelich taking strike 3. Not swinging, taking. And I'm multiple years.
Yep. Yeah.
That's the guy we need to lead us. And he just is hard and doesn't show up in the playoffs.
It's important to remember, and a lot of teams don't even get the opportunity to look at it this way, but it's hard to remember, these awards are regular season awards. The Brewers had a very, very, very good regular season. The best in Major League Baseball. And so for them to get some awards for it makes sense. But it's just hard for us as fans to look at it that way because we're still feeling the sting and the wound of the postseason exit to the Dodgers and specifically the offensive performance in those games.
The Nicolay Law Fan Talking text line, 414-677-1250. This is interesting. The 414 says, all right, this is the way I view Christian in the way he came into the club and into the organization, the MVP, top flight, got hurt, struggled. I think there's some expectations by the fans to get back to that MVP level, which I don't think will ever happen. And that's okay. But I think you'll always be treated like a buster. And it's unfortunate. Well, okay. Are we asking for Christian Yelich to be the MVP? Or are we simply asking him not to go 6 for 33 in the postseason? His average in the postseason this year was 182. This postseason, he hit 182. Huh? I don't need him to be the MVP.
That's not being MVP. That's being the worst on the team.
But help me understand. That's not my expectation. I don't have an expectation of him being the MVP every year. Nobody does. But you can't fall off the radar. That doesn't work. Pat Murphy talked yesterday as well. He, again, two-time winner, 24 and 25, of the Sporting News Honors and Awards as NL Manager of the Year. Duh.
Yeah. And he had some things to say, including things he can learn from the playoffs this year.
There's no definite, I got a lot of recommendations from a lot of people, and I've got a nice little core of guys outside the organization that do it for a living, and it's kind of got their recommendations, and I just will try to shake it up and garner as much as we can so we can be in this position if we're lucky enough to be. It's not easy to lead the major leagues in wins. So credit to the players and the way they went after it every day. I'd hate to lose that win tonight mentality.
Me too.
Yeah. It's interesting. It was interesting hearing him say that, because you heard all season long him kind of even down to being down 3-0. The last thing he said in his presser before going out on the field was, "We'll see you guys tomorrow."
Mm-hmm.
He always carried that confidence, but now that it's done, you heard some stuff in there of like, boy, it's hard to get where we were, and I really hope we don't lose the mentality we had. I think that's a very realistic way of looking at things from Pat Murphy of, getting to that point, being this team was not easy, and he doesn't take it for granted, and he's well aware that there's a good chance it might not be back next year.
Yeah, not easy to have the best record in all of Major League Baseball. And that was the hardest part for us as Brewers fans to remember. The way that went down in the NLCS, awful. I mean, awful. Like, didn't even have what felt like a fighting chance. And how quickly we forget what the Brewers were able to accomplish this year. The hard part about that argument, Josh, is that they truly believe that it's irrelevant, that the regular season doesn't matter. Well, timeout. You have to do what we did in the regular season in order for us to get to the spot we were in the playoffs. And Josh and I talked about this leading into the playoffs. Was the number 1 seed the best thing for the Brewers? I don't know if that mattered. Ultimately, we wanted to beat the Cubs in the playoffs.
It was
mission accomplished.
It was the most important thing for making sure we beat the Cubs. And I honestly don't think it mattered where it was when it came to the Dodgers. I don't think it mattered. I did look this up, by the way, with Yelich. So Yelich only played in 2024. He played 73 games.
Right.
So
back surgery.
Right. In comparison to 150 in 2025. And essentially every other number, by the way, I mean, is doubled as it should be. But like, he had 11 home runs last year, 29 this year. He had 42 RBIs. He had 103 this year. So, it makes sense. It makes sense.
The 608 says fans want 2018 postseason Yelich, which was and will never happen again, which sucks. But other guys have to step up. Truth. Who's going to step up this weekend for the Packers? It's Love versus Rodgers, only it's not. It's Love versus the Steelers D, they say, and Rodgers versus the Packers D. And yet somehow it will all be Rodgers versus Love. Who's going to step up? What does this look like? And how do we kind of tone out the noise that is the QB situation and actually take a look at the game? Up next, let's chat about it. Andy Herman from the Pack a Day podcast joins us next on Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
Hey guys, it's Josh Albrecht here from my friends at Henry Flock Steakhouse in West Dallas. Henry Flock's is always introducing new items like their calamari, seasoned perfectly and served with house-made vodka sauce. Speaking of that vodka sauce, you got to try the shrimp and scallop pasta topped with Parmesan. It is amazing. It's so good. And don't forget about their incredible drinks, by the way, like their Ruby Slipper or your classic Supper Club favorites like a Pink Squirrel or Orange Dreamsicle ice cream drink. Whether it's an exceptional steak or something different, there's always an amazing meal waiting for you at Henry Flock Steakhouse. It's so much more than just a steak place.
Check, check.
What's up, Wisconsin? Welcome back. The Wisconsin Sports Radio Network, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. This is Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. Joining us now, as he does every Monday and every Friday, here on Inside Wisconsin Sports, our guy, Andy Herman. Follow him at Andy Herman NFL and the Pack-A-Day Podcast on the Twitter. Andy, how are you, man?
I am fantastic, fellas. How are you guys doing?
Doing super good. Wisconsin Sports Radio Network guest hotline powered by Gruber Law. One call. That's all. Josh, you're good.
I'm good.
I'm good. Andy's good.
We're all
And
good.
enough but I'm over the Rodgers stuff now, okay? Like, I knew it was coming.
He's not. Andy, he's not.
I'm totally over it.
He's so lying to himself.
It's Friday. We've talked about it all week.
We
Now
have
let's
talked
just-
about it all week.
Let's play football. Okay. So how much, to put this to bed, is this
'Cause we're not
Rodgers
done with
thing
it.
going to come up on Sunday? And is it really going to have a major effect on the game? Or is this just a bunch of fodder?
It'll come up a lot on the broadcast. It's going to come up, of course, I mean, through the remainder of this week, today, tomorrow, Sunday, etc. All the pregame shows. It's a big storyline. It's a big narrative. It's not a great week of games. There's only 2 games between winning teams, and the other one is Bills Panthers. So, like, this is going to get a ton of attention. And anytime you have a storyline like this, it's going to bump to the top of everything. I'll say this. I think the really cool aspect of this, I 1,000,000% believe Aaron when he says this is not a revenge game. Steelers Jets was a revenge game. That was a revenge game for him. He wanted to beat the crap out of the Jets. Don't get me wrong. He wants to beat the Packers. He wants to beat the 32nd team. He wants to beat the team that traded him away. He'll be extra motivated. He's going to want to do really well in this one, but I don't think it's a revenge game. And I give a lot of credit to everybody sort of involved here. Going back even to the time of the trade, I think everyone handled that divorce about as well as you could possibly have a situation like that. You had Mark Murphy say complicated fella. You got Aaron a little bit upset once the trade wasn't going through immediately and he just kind of wanted it finalized. Outside of that, the actual divorce itself went about as smoothly as it could possibly go. You can tell Aaron harbors no ill will, at least, outwardly. Maybe there's a little bit of, bitterness towards Brian Gutekunst or something that he's harboring inside or whatever. But I think if you were to put Aaron on a lie detector test and say, are you wanting revenge in this game? Or would you ask him if, like, is this just, you want another win? You want to get the Steelers a win and try to get them to the playoffs? I think he would legitimately tell the truth and say, I just want to win. I want to get the Steelers a win and try to get us to the playoffs. So I do think this matters more. I do think it's a good storyline. I mean, these are what you sort of get hyped up for on a Sunday night football game when you've got a legend like this facing his former team. I remember, this is really going to freaking age me. I remember watching Joe Montana the first time as a Chief going up against the 49ers. I remember, and it was like, that was a story. It was awesome. So no, I think that these things are, I think these things are awesome, but to me, once the game starts, it's all going to be, what's actually happening and going on the field.
Andy, since we're definitely not done talking about the Aaron Rodgers stuff, as Trevor just mentioned, we did a poll question that we put up yesterday of just simply said Rodgers ? Yes or no, to kind of get just people's overall feelings on where they are on Rodgers now. And it came back 70% yes, 30% no. Is that surprising to you?
I'm sorry, 70% yes, it was. What was the premise?
Yes, Rodgers. Just yes. Yes to Rodgers, 30% no to Rodgers.
That it's, I'm sorry, what, just in general? Just yes?
Literally,
in
the
general.
question was one word.
Okay.
In general.
Aaron Rodgers, yes or no? Yeah, no. To even kind of expand upon that a little bit more, I think if this game is in Green Bay, I think he gets his flowers. I don't think this is a Brett Favre situation where he's getting booed.
I agree with you, dude. I agree.
I think it's closer to Chris Middleton than it is to what happened to Brett Favre when he returned. I will also go further and say, I think if Brett Favre returned as a Jet, it would have been the same thing. When Brett Favre returned as a Viking, that's when everything, I mean, I remember wholeheartedly cheering for Brett as a Jet. In fact, the Packers, if they would have got to the Super Bowl, the Jets would have got to the Super Bowl and he played 70% of the snaps, the Packers would have got a first round pick instead of a third round pick in that draft. So there was even more incentive to cheer for the Jets that year. So no, I think he would have received a great ovation if Aaron was coming back to Green Bay this weekend. I'm sure 70-30 feels honestly just about right with that poll about who would probably be supporting him still. But no, I think this has been very very amicable. And I think the fans are in the same sort of boat. And I think, Aaron this week has been great talking about Swamico and Chives and Piggly Wiggly. I think the amount of animosity here between any party is very, very minimal.
Yeah.
I completely agree.
Just
all
like
right,
Trevor.
moving on. I do not agree. And that's okay. You know what?
All right. I've missed the pre-premise, Trevor. So if I were to guess based on
salty, Andy. He is salty.
You're sick of the entire Rodgers storyline would be my guess. And you think that if Rodgers came back to Green Bay, it would be more boos than cheers?
I do, and the whole week has been me just kind of complaining about Rodgers, which I was like on Monday. You know what? I don't want to complain about Rodgers, and then I complain about Rodgers literally every day. So doing great, doing great.
He's killing it.
Josh and I talked about this earlier. There are things that happen with players on the field that we would never even think about them off the field. Like Jordy Nelson, I said, do we love Jordy Nelson? Absolutely love Jordy Nelson. Well, what were some of the things that Jordy said off the field? Literally nothing. Aaron Jones plays for the Vikings. Do we love Aaron Jones?
Yes, sir.
Love Aaron Jones. Doesn't matter that he plays for the Vikings. Why? Because he said nothing off the field. Aaron Rodgers? Apparently I'm in the 30%. I just can't. If we were only to view the player on the field, nobody would have any opinion. But it's all the off the field stuff. And then Matt LaFleur comes out in his presser earlier this week, and we played it on the show. I edited the word Rodgers out of everything that he said. And all he did for a minute and a half was tell you how amazing a quarterback is in the NFL with all of these stats and all of his ability to sling it and all of it. And then I said, if you heard that soundbite, who wouldn't want that guy on your team? Oh, it's Rodgers. Well, the Packers didn't, and the Jets didn't. So therefore, there's something about this that I just don't think is as forward-facing as I would have expected it to be. That who wouldn't want that quarterback on their team? And there's just reasons. So you know what? Hopefully Monday morning, it doesn't matter.
Okay, a couple things. The first thing is, I think at the time it happened, the vast majority of people, fans, the Packers, and Aaron Rodgers were ready for that divorce to happen. Like, it was just time. And that sometimes that's okay, especially in sports. Like, I think the Packers were a little bit sick of Rodgers. I think Rodgers was a little bit sick of the Packers, and they drafted a first-round quarterback. I think that all played a factor into it at the time. I don't think that necessarily diminishes the previous accolades for MVP, Super Bowl, etc. I also think the Packers were kind of the ones that kicked it off when they drafted Jordan Love. Also, the Packers, just all off-field stuff aside, they made the right decision. I mean, Jordan Love at his age and the way that he's playing quarterback right now, he's just outplaying Aaron just in general, but also he's younger. And, obviously Aaron had the torn Achilles after. They didn't know that at the time. But when you go with an aging quarterback, you know that some of that stuff is the possibility. So Green Bay just made the right decision. Now, New York, they made the wrong decision. I'm sure that there was some other stuff that went into that as well. But I think the best thing that happened to Aaron was probably New York, moving on so he could go to Pittsburgh and get in a better situation. If Aaron were playing for the New York Jets this year, I think that would be a miserable situation for him. I don't think he's improving that record. I think that Jets team is just complete sunken cost. I don't think there's anything that he could have done to change that. They probably maybe have 1 or 2 wins instead of none, but it would have been a nightmare scenario. So I think the Jets actually made the mistake by going in that direction. And I think the Steelers were smart to pick him up. I'll go a step further. I think the team that's probably that looks the worst right now is the Minnesota Vikings, for all the conversations that they had in the offseason with one Aaron Rodgers to say, we don't want you, Daniel Jones. We don't want you, Sam Darnold. We don't want you, Aaron Rodgers. We're just going to go with JJ McCarthy and push all our chips in the table. We'll get Sam Howell as an insurance policy because we've got a quarterback whisperer as a head coach. We can make JJ McCarthy great. We can make Sam Howell really good again. And then all of a sudden you've got a beat up Carson Wentz and nothing to show for it. And that team is going to be brutal. Not to just bash on the Vikings out of nowhere, but that's a fun transition, right?
I'm cool with that. Let's bash on the Vikings out of nowhere. I'm totally down with that. All right, so there's a defensive story here this weekend. Micah Parsons, TJ Watt, and not a lot of time has been spent on that. Who has the edge, pun intended, Parsons or Watt?
Parsons, no question. Watt isn't quite the same player that he was. He's still really freaking good. So don't, get it too twisted. But the thing about Parsons is you can move him anywhere, whereas Watt predominantly stays on one side of the field. But what I will say is the player that does not get mentioned right now that is playing out of his mind is Nick Herbig, the defensive end, the former Wisconsin Badger for the Pittsburgh Steelers. He has been unbelievable. Just a pure speed rusher that is a terror off the edge in obvious passing downs. I know everyone's not a huge fan of PFF right now. He's in the top 5 or 6 of defensive ends in PFF, and you watch him and it passes the eye test incredibly quick. So you add if you get into some 3rd and long situations in this game and you're worried just about TJ Watt on one side and you're chipping him and helping Zach Tom a little bit, and you've got Herbig just racing off the edge against Rasheed Walker, that can be a problem too. So not to say that Rashawn Gary can't cause some havoc of his own. We saw the big force fumble last week, but these are both teams that are going to want to get in 3rd and manageable situations, because if you're in 3rd and long, these edge rushers are going to make it a very, very long day for you.
Andy, as we've watched this Packers team play, it's been very confusing so far this season on how to feel and what to think and predict how the games are going to go. But one consistency has kind of been that they've played to the competition. Besides, I guess, that first week against Detroit, it's kind of been, close games and you're just kind of playing the same way as your opponent. What do you see as the main difference maker this week that breaks that consistency for the Packers?
Yeah, this is a pretty simple one for me. This gets down to run blocking and running the football. We could talk turnovers as well. I still think that's an important aspect, but that goes into pretty much any game. To me, for all the angst and anxiety and frustration and everything about play calling, if on some of those play calls, they just actually run the ball better and it gets blocked better up front, all of a sudden Matt LaFleur looks a whole heck of a lot better. Now, there is absolutely the aspect of if your run game's not working and you continue to call run plays, including some really mind-scratching ones in weird situations, that's still on the play caller. But if they block it up better, it's going to look a whole heck of a lot better. So to me, this run blocking unit has not been anywhere near good enough. Josh Jacobs doesn't need a ton of space to make things happen. You just need to give him little slivers, little creases, not have 2 guys exploding into the backfield right after the snap. And Jacobs is going to kind of make the rest happen. So if all of a sudden, this is going to be a good passing team, I think all year long. We're not going to get another Brown situation as long as the offensive line stays healthy. They're better in pass protection than that. I think the defense is going to continue to play better than what they showed these last couple of weeks. I don't think that that's going to be the norm. But to me, if they start running the football, they're going to be balanced on offense. You're going to start seeing 30-point performances. It's going to put more pressure on the opposing offense. And I think that's where you're going to see more obvious passing situations, more turnovers. I think everything just starts to click. And I think in this game, especially like we talked about with TJ Watt, Nick Herbig, and this group of edge rushers for Pittsburgh, Derek Harmon on the interior, Cam Hayward on the interior, you want to stay out of 3rd and long situations. To me, it's going to be paramount that you run the ball. Even Cincinnati, who's terrible at running the ball, was able to get some good yardage against Pittsburgh on Thursday Night Football. So get Josh Jacobs in that running game going, and you're going to start playing some really great football overall.
Andy Herman from the Pack-A-Day podcast joins us on Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. Follow him on Twitter at Andy Herman NFL. I don't care if it's X. It will forever be Twitter. Does that age me?
Likewise.
I don't know.
No, I agree.
You can also follow the Pack-A-Day podcast at Pack-A-Day podcast. All right, one more for me. Josh and I have, accidentally come up with these poll questions for our at WI Sports Radio, Wisconsin Sports Radio Network account on Twitter. The first one was what, Josh?
Was NBA? Wasn't it?
NBA? And it was 70-30, no. Yesterday, Rodgers, 70-30, yes. Early reports on today's poll question means that I'm going to be buying him some steak. So here's what happened. We made a friendly wager that I thought Rodgers was going to get interception happy this weekend, and he thinks one at the most.
Now, hold on. To be fair, what you said was Aaron Rodgers is not going to have a good game. He said under 200 yards passing, 2 interceptions, and 1 touchdown. That's what he said for his stat line. Okay. I went, I don't see that happening at all. And I said, let's put a bet on it. And he said, well, let's pick one thing. What do you think's most likely not to happen out of what I predicted? And that got us to the interceptions.
So I think he's going to throw 2. Maybe more, but probably not. But I think he's going to throw 2. He thinks, Josh, no chance. like one at the most. And so I said, all right. And now, ironically, all of this happened while we were talking with Jeff Levering. How? No idea.
No clue.
ADHD, that's how. And so we said, all right, well, if Rodgers throws 2 picks, then Josh has to go pick up Jeff Levering and come up to Green Bay and take me out for steak at Republic Chop House.
Love it.
If he only throws 1 interception, I have to go pick up Jeff Levering on my way down to Milwaukee and take those guys out to Henry Fox. Jeff had nothing to do with this bet. I feel like that's fairly important information in today's professional sports landscape.
He just happened to be passing by and got caught in the conversation.
And he goes, this is perfect. So what say you, Andy Herman? Interceptions, Rodgers under 1.5 or Rodgers over 1.5?
I am all in Rodgers under 1.5. I would be pretty stunned. This is the most risk-averse quarterback in the history of the world, and he just threw 2 a week ago, which is going to eat at him. Probably, like, he'll be thinking of that 2 interception game against the Bengals last week, probably for years still. It'll be eating at him. It's against the team he wants to play really well against. To your point, Trevor, I do think maybe there is just a little bit of a, maybe he tries to push to do something a little bit too much, but I think that probably gets him to maybe 1 interception. I'd be pretty surprised if there was 2. The Packers are due for a 2-3 interception game, and just to get some turnovers and bunches, they are due for that. I just don't see this being the game. I think Rodgers has a good game. I think it's probably right around the 200 yards. I would say, somewhere between 1 and 2 touchdowns, but I think 1 interception at most.
That's where my opinion came from on this. Was I think that the Packers might get out to a lead, and Rodgers is going to feel very pressured,
desperate
to get points on the board. And so if a desperate Aaron Rodgers starts slinging it all over the place like he's capable of, and the Packers are due for some turnovers on the defensive side.
Yeah,
due.
Yeah.
All right, we'll see how it shakes out.
Listen, now here's my fear. Everyone is agreeing with me. I kind of needed it to be a little bit more even split. Everyone's like, I don't see how this could happen. Now I got
There's only 36 votes so far.
Now I got a bad feeling.
I think Andy just voted.
No, boy.
94.4% say under 1.5 for Rodgers. Only 5.6% say over. Listen, as superstitious as Josh is,
yes, I am.
That's why he doesn't like this. All right, before we let you go, Andy, give us a prediction, yeah?
I'm actually taking the Steelers, I think, in this one. I have a bad feeling about this
Andy,
game.
Good to talk to you.
Yeah. That's good talk, guys. So this is perfect because you guys can just copy this soundbite and play it for me on Monday, on Victory Monday, when the Packers have won, and be like, you idiot. Remember this hot take you had? The Packers haven't won in Pittsburgh.
4 picks.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, both things. Packers haven't won in Pittsburgh since 1970. The Bart Starr, we've all heard that all week. Weird things happen in Pittsburgh. It's just 6 games. It's not like they go play there every year or whatever. But weird things tend to happen. I think Aaron's going to be extra motivated. I think some of the things that the Packers do very poorly, including stopping tight ends, big wide receivers, quick throwing quarterbacks, are all evident in this game. The edge rushers for Pittsburgh really scare me, and I'm not super confident still in this Packers running attack. So add in the potential turnover battle where Jordan is usually good for putting one in harm's way, and the Steelers take away anything in their vicinity. This one just gives me a little bit of fear and trepidation, and I don't necessarily feel great. I know Haversick's been great, and maybe McManus is kicking. The Steelers are really great in special teams too, and I think that could end up potentially costing Green Bay. So there's just a lot of little things that add up to this one, but I really hope I'm wrong. I think it's going to be a really fun game, and certainly Green Bay has every right to go down there and win this game.
Boom. At Andy Herman, NFL on Twitter, and the Pack a Day podcast every Monday and every Friday. Andy joins us to break down the Packers. We'll chat with you, buddy, on Monday, and we'll see how it goes.
Can't wait. Thanks so much, guys.
Thanks, Andy.
See you, buddy. Andy Herman, Wisconsin Sports Radio Network guest hotline, powered by Gruber Law. One call, that's all. We'll wrap up, Josh, the first full week of you and I doing Inside Wisconsin Sports together.
Wow, this is it. That's crazy.
Literally, the first full week. Crazy town. Glad to have us here along with you. Very grateful. The Wisconsin Sports Radio Network, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. This is Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
Trevor and Josh want to know.
What's up?
What's up, Wisconsin?
What's up?
What's your plan for the day?
What's up?
What are you doing tonight?
What's up?
Let us know what's up on Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
What's up, Wisconsin? What's going on for the weekend?
What's up?
Happy Friday. Wisconsin Sports Radio Network, powered by the Potawatomi Studios, Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. We wrap up the show every day with What's Up, Wisconsin? What are you guys doing tonight? What are you doing this weekend? What are you watching? Who's got playoff football tonight? Who are you cheering for in the high school realm of the WIAA playoffs that are starting up tonight? Hit us up on the Nicolay Law Fan Talk and Text line, 414-677-1250. Josh, what's up?
Well, it's Friday, and every Friday we go to Natty Oaks. We get in a big old bowl of chili. Gonna get that big old bowl, wait all week. Very excited for that, first and foremost. Second, this weekend, trick-or-treating. We're hitting up all the trick-or-treating. We got like my in-laws go to like their part of the neck of the woods. Kids will do some trick-or-treating there. And then Saturday, there's more trick-or-treating. And then Sunday, there's more trick-or-treating. And so it's going to be a lot of that. My costume, it's going to be 3 years running. Just going to throw Indiana Jones back on. You know, I used to do a lot of cute couple things with Julie, and we used to do some family trick-or-treating costumes. All that's done. That's done. I haven't done it in a couple of years now. Don't know when it all fell off, but it did. And then I'll also be watching sports. I'm going to watch the World Series game tonight. I will see based on how tonight goes, how much World Series I watch the rest of the World Series. And then obviously Sunday's all football.
The 262 on the Nicolay Law Fan Talk and Text line. What's up? I'm catching a flight to Pittsburgh tonight to watch the Pack beat up an old man Rodgers. Jake in Pewaukee.
Look at you, Jake.
Take some pictures and videos and tag us, will you? At Trevor Thomas IW, at On Air Josh, or at Inside Wish Sports, the network at WI Sports Radio. It's such a blast to interact with everybody on Twitter.
True.
All the people that have followed us since we started the show. Having a blast. All right, costume ideas. I mentioned this yesterday. My wife sent me a whole list of them this morning, and thanks for the ideas. What do you think of this one? Coffee and either a creamer or a bagel.
Yeah, those are okay. So when is this? When's the deadline for
a
you
week
on this?
From Saturday.
Oh, so you still have a week?
Yeah, but that's not how Amazon works this time of year. You got to make these decisions.
Yeah,
man.
yeah. Well, okay, but here's the thing. You were talking about like ones that were requiring more effort. I feel like coffee and creamer or coffee and a bagel that's a simple like, all right, we got 72 hours. I found this on Amazon. When I typed in couples costumes, you can go and you can do it.
I like my coffee kind of like brown per se.
Okay.
I like a little coffee with my creamer.
Sure.
And it all like, what if I just painted the top of my head white that looked like just, foam cream on the top?
Said, yeah, coffee.
Stupid. A lot of sports this weekend that we should pay attention to from a Wisconsin sports fan perspective. I mean, a lot, right? So where do we begin? Of course, let's start at the end. The Packers game. Packers at Steelers, Sunday night, 7:20 NBC. It is a big one. It's a big one. All right, back to Friday now. Bucks are back. Friday, tonight, at the Raptors, 5:30. Sunday, at the Cavs, 5 o'clock. Badgers football, do you care?
They're playing.
Saturday at 6. Ugh,
there will be a game.
How about we score points? It's bad when you're like, we're going to get our absolute, what's kicked. That's fine. We've all accepted that.
Yeah.
Can we score? Is it too much to ask that we simply score the points?
That's depressing.
What's not depressing is watching Badgers volleyball. Have you ever sat down and watched a match?
Yeah, I love watching volleyball. It's so intense.
They're so fun. Badgers volleyball are on the road this weekend. They're at Washington at 9 o'clock tonight, Big Ten Network. And then Sunday, they're going to go and, remind Oregon that not all Wisconsin sports suck. Badgers volleyball at Oregon at 3 o'clock. A lot of football games tonight. We talked about it earlier. The divisional playoff rounds start tonight for all of WIAA football. I am heading to Luxembourg Casco for FVL tonight.
We got some people chiming in on the Nicolay Law Fan Talk and Text line with their plans, letting us know what's up. Derek from Whitewater said, I finally get to go to my cabin and deer hunt after my daughter's fall ball softball is finally over.
Let's go.
Derek from Whitewater getting out there. Jacob Navan replacing my dishwasher tomorrow. Yay. Hey, I've been there. That ain't fun. Brad said, looks like I'm going to the grocery store to buy some beers to hand out while showing the Badgers game during Trick or Treat.
Damn right.
You asked us early in the show. That was during I Have Questions. You had the question. We had the answer. Add it to your list, bud.
That's how you do it.
Yep.
Jeff from Luxembourg cheering for the LC Spartans in D3 football playoffs. Also, there's a 9-pin tournament at Willow Creek Lanes tomorrow here in Green Bay. Taking our little man trick-or-treating in between the Packers game. There's a lot of kids trick-or-treating this weekend, huh?
Yeah.
Do not a lot of communities do it on Halloween itself?
Ours does as well, where I live in Brookfield. So that is on Halloween, but a lot of the other ones are, no, you go on the weekend. And it just so happens that where we have family, it's all intertwined. So we hit them all, baby.
Winnie in the 715 doing a family Oktoberfest with Oktoberfest beer tasting, brats, schnitzel, spatzel, and treats. Where's the invite?
Yeah.
That sounds amazing.
Hi, thanks for the invite.
That's going to be a blast. Oktoberfest beers, by the way, those are big boy beers. Remember we had that Flocktoberfest thing a couple weeks ago?
Oh, yeah.
Whew, that hung with me a couple days.
Yeah, I'm sure it did.
I can drink Miller Lite with the best of them, but not so much that. That hurt. Hey, we appreciate you guys. The first full week of Wisconsin Sports Radio Network and Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. We will see you on Monday, by God willing, 2 interception Monday.
Or less than 2 and a Packers win. That's what we really care about.
Do we, though? Steak.
Yes. Tune in then, because we are not done yet.